This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, fantasy book fans? This is Steven, your host from Fantology, along with my lifelong friend Josh. And today we are doing a little recap of the recent San Diego Comic-Con news. There were news on a variety of fantasy-related topics. Obviously, that's what the Comic-Con does. This is the biggest one, and they always have extra special trailers, etc., announcements and things. But we're going to focus on 4 areas for this whole thing, right, Josh?
Yep. So I think we're going to go through the recent Marvel announcements that were made, and it covers Phase 4 and Phase 5. We're going to go through the Rings of Power trailer, the House of the Dragon trailer, and the Q&A that Rafe did for Wheel of Time.
Yeah. Should we just go in that order, or should we go in the order of things we're most excited for? If we had to choose most excited for, I'd start with House of the Dragon, because I remain the most excited for that one.
We can do whatever order you want, Steven. Yeah, let's do House of the Dragon order.
Then we're going to do that one. Okay, so I've been reading Fire and Blood, which is the nonfiction fiction book that George R. R. Martin wrote about the history of Westeros. And it's like a full-length book. It's a long fantasy book, but it's just written as a history text, essentially. And so I'm into the part that they're going to cover in the House of the Dragon. And so 2 things. There's going to be changes. Gasp, there's going to be changes. You can already tell from the trailer that things are different from what was actually written in the history of Westeros. And the second thing is, I think this is going to be an awesome series. Like the source material here, the content for what they could do, just this story is so interesting. And so it's such a Game of Thrones story. I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm happy from the trailer that we saw that was released at SDCC. It looked like it was going to be like back to kind of the politics that made the first few seasons of Game of Thrones so great.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
And it seemed like there was going to be a lot of political maneuvering and backstabbing and alliances broken, and so I'm excited for that. And having not really any information about the source material besides watching Game of Thrones, and hearing this kind of talked about in a cursory way, it has me pumped. Which honestly, I didn't think I wouldn't think I was going to be as excited as I am, if that makes sense. Like, the hype machine works on me, I guess.
Nice. Okay.
Through the last few years of development, because we've heard rumors of these spin-offs and prequels and sequels and sidequels and all these things, and forever I've just been like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what happens when they come out. But now I'm like, now that it's coming out, we've gotten this promotion stuff, and the actors look good and well cast and everything. I'm excited. So,
and the dragons look awesome. Really cool dragons.
They do. Yeah. We've talked about like different trailers and stuff. The CGI maybe not being all the way done when they released the trailers. Like, it seemed like this happened with Wheel of Time. It seems like it's happening with She-Hulk. It seems like it's happened with Rings of Power, and just kind of going down the line. But this, it looks
not
like
happening here.
Yeah, they really focused on making these dragons like exceptionally well done.
Okay, so let me give you a little primer for what the story is. And disclaimer, I'm probably going to get some names and details wrong, but I'm excited enough about the story, so I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about it. And if we have time, we'll get your brother-in-law, who knows more about the Song of Ice and Fire and all the history and stuff. Maybe we'll get him on, or we'll get him to tell us more details of what we should know. Okay, so this is set in like year 120 or something after Conquest. AC is the way that they do years. So it's after the conquest of Aegon the Conqueror, who maybe you heard about, or that might like strike some chords.
Yeah, Aegon. Yeah, I kind of know he was a big person in the Targaryen house, right? And he's referred to a lot, but that's kind of all I know about him.
And like, it's tricky.
If I heard the name Aegon, I would be able to identify that he was a Targaryen and happened before the events of Game of Thrones. That's what I would know. So,
well, it's really tricky because all of the royal families tend to reuse names, or they use names that are like really similar spelling. And honestly, the Targaryens are probably the worst, the most guilty of doing this from what I've seen. So there's lots of Aegons, but I mean, it kind of makes sense because if there's someone cool in your family line, you're going to name your kid after him, right?
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
things go.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so Aegon came over after the Doom of Valeria, which you also may remember. This is so before the Doom of Valeria, which is still kind of this like, as far as I understand, this mysterious magical thing that no one really fully understands. Maybe there's more details there that I missed, but that's my understanding. So there were like a bunch of dragons and dragon houses and stuff. So after the Doom, that was all wiped out, except for the Targaryens who left sooner. Actually, is it Valeria or Volantis? It might be Volantis. Okay, see, these are the details I'm going to mix up. Anyway, Aegon and the Targaryens came over and they conquered over an extended period of time. Actually, it was only a few years, but they conquered Westeros and he became like the first king over the entire Seven Kingdoms. So his descendants, this is 130 years after this, right? So there's been some kings and that have risen and fallen and so lots of intrigue and stuff. But now we get to the point where the king is Viserys, same name as the guy who had the crown of gold on his head, right? So Viserys, he seems to be made out as a little more of a sympathetic figure in the show from what I've seen in the trailer. His grandfather was a really long tenured king that ever was really popular, really, really successful king, probably like one of the best kings in Westeros history. So he has a succession problem. And this is what leads into the plot, a lot of the intrigue of, and this is directly in the trailer because they talk about, well, who's gonna be the next king after you. So it seems like they're changing things where they are taking his brother Daemon, who's like the really strong nosed guy, who seems like really haughty and arrogant, right? So he's his brother, and he's kind of this swashbuckling type figure. And then there's also his firstborn, his firstborn daughter, I think firstborn, that is also being considered, but they've never had a queen before. The Targaryens have always passed over queens in favor of the male line. So now there's a question of who we're going to take. We're going to take the queen here and go and change things up, or it seems like in the show they're changing things because Daemon, it was never actually considered for the throne in the history from what I remember. The question is more of the grandson who comes from the queen, and the queen is the pretty brunette haired girl.
Okay.
But in the show, it looks like she's going to be about the same age as Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is the granddaughter. So that's a change because in the history, she's older. So the question is either Rhaenyra or the grandson who comes from Alicent Hightower is the brunette lady. So after Viserys dies, everything is split and they go into this war that they call the Dance of the Dragons. And it's the question of, are we going to go with Aegon? Is it Aegon? Can't remember exactly the grandson's name. Might be another Aegon. Do we go with this guy, who's actually just a kid at the time, or do we go with Rhaenyra? But they're changing a lot of ages and some relationships, and so people may be a little bit up in arms, but I think they kind of have to because a history is different than a TV show that you're trying to do in a successive story. Like you can't necessarily have like long time gaps where people are traveling around or aging up or whatever. So
can't
anyway,
really
that's
too underage of people either, depending on what storyline you're going to be going with them.
Exactly. Rhaenyra in the history is actually a bit older. It seems like she is starting off at least like fairly young, kind of same age as Daenerys in the show, but she's older in the history and she's already had several children and she's kind of a troublesome lady, but it seems like she's more of like an innocent figure in the TV show. Anyway, I'm really excited for this because the actual action of the Dance of Dragons, which is the war, the civil war between the two, is really interesting and cool and lots of intrigue and dragon fighting and cool stuff. And again, it's kind of this question of who's going to take the Iron Throne, which was what made Game of Thrones so popular, right? We were always wanting to know, who's gonna win. So if you've read the history, you know who's gonna win. So I won't spoil it, but I think they're gonna be able to have like a similar level of intrigue here.
Okay, I'm excited. Yeah, this sounds.
So that's why you should read. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think
or watch?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it's worth reading before? I mean, obviously you think it's worth reading for yourself, but like, would you
Uh-huh.
recommend that our listeners read it if they're looking for something to read between now and the release of the show?
If you are a big fantasy fan, which you probably are if you're listening, then yeah, I totally recommend it. However, it doesn't read like a regular fantasy narrative. It's a history. It reads like a textbook. It's like, this king went off here and did this thing, and there were rumors about this and this, but it's still interesting all the way through. George R. R. Martin's a great author, so yeah, I'd recommend it.
Okay. It's funny. I feel like we usually fictionalize history, like we go back and write like a fictional story in a historical setting or something.
Yeah,
Whereas this is historicalizing fiction, or not, like.
yeah, it's a unique thing. Like, there's not too many books like this out there.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah,
excited. I
yeah.
mean, I'm probably not going to read it because I have other things further up on my TBR than this. I don't think I'm
Uh-huh.
a big enough fan necessarily to like really justify it, but
Right.
I'm excited.
Honestly, not knowing what happens may make the show a little more compelling
Well,
to watch.
that's what happened with my, Game of Thrones walkthrough. Is I um I read the first book and watched the first season, and I just
Mhm.
enjoyed watching the first season more than reading the book. No shade on the book, like the book is great and everything, but like so then I was like, well, I would rather just watch the show, than trying to read and watch. And then after I finished the show, I'm like, well, if the next book isn't going to come out ever, then I don't know if I'm going to read them. And so I'm just
Yeah,
waiting until the next book comes out
fair, fair.
until I actually read the series. So I definitely feel that gap in like my nerd card, like that I haven't read all
Mhm.
the Song of Ice and Fire books, but also like I'm like, well, you know,
Yeah, no, it's fair. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
it's been
tough.
a while. It's been a while, but
Yeah,
George R. R. Martin does have other books outside of his five Song of Ice and Fire.
right. Which we read one of them. We read
Mm.
the vampire
Fever
on
Dream.
the fever dream. Yeah, we
Yeah,
read and reviewed that. So check
yeah.
that out.
He has a
Yeah.
few others, and he has Fire and Blood, which is the book that I'm talking about, and then he's got one called Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I actually don't know what that book is, but I own it, so I should probably read it. So I'm just trying to say he's written more than just Song of Ice and Fire in the universe. Like, it's pretty expansive, and I mean, all of the history that he's laid out makes for a lot of possibilities for an expanded Song of Ice and Fire, World of Ice and Fire universe, which I'm excited to see because the world is awesome, and just the feel of like being back in Westeros. The trailer really had me with that.
Yeah. Didn't he make a comment about how he wanted that the world to be similar to the MCU or something? I think I saw this
It
like
I don't know if
news
he did.
breaking
Did
over
he
the
say that?
weekend.
Yeah.
Let
Okay.
me Google it real fast.
Yeah. I think HBO would love that.
Yeah. Um, seriously. Okay. George R. R. Martin, 5 days ago, George R. R. Martin wants Game of Thrones to be Game of Thrones should be like the MCU, evolve beyond battles for Iron Throne. But Martin stressed he
Mm,
doesn't want to be sidelined like Marvel creator Stan Lee. He had no power, no influence. I don't know. I'm reading this is the headline on IndieWire. I
okay.
don't want to get details wrong, so
I mean,
go
that sounds like a good clickbait type
for sure,
headline. So
for
yeah,
sure. But
yeah. I don't
interesting.
know if I'm as excited for the Jon Snow spinoff that they announced. Like, I feel like we've spent a lot of time with Jon
I,
Snow, and
here,
eh,
my opinion on that is I think one season would be really cool, like a mini series.
okay,
Like I hope that they kind of do these things where they just like one season of Jon Snow's adventures beyond the wall, I could totally get behind. If
uh-huh.
it's like a really well paced, here's a story, like a contained, you know, 8 episode, 12 episode journey that he goes on, kind of get a slice of what, Jon Snow's life is like after the events.
Okay,
I could
okay.
get behind that. Um, I don't know if I want to protract it. Here's 6 seasons of Jon Snow beyond the wall,
Yeah, seems
maybe
like
if it,
a
you know,
really cold and brooding series.
maybe if it goes throughout his entire life, that could be
Yeah,
cool. But
I don't know
like,
if I'm that interested in Jon Snow. I've kind of already seen him played out over seven seasons of 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. Like,
yeah, it's
it's
kind of
been
where
a
I'm at too.
yeah.
Yeah. So
House of the Dragon needs more than one season though. This has got to be. I'm sure it's got to be an extended series to really get through all of the content they could do.
this seems like what they kind of want the history of their or like what they want the next big series to be.
Mm-hmm.
What it looks like to me. So
yeah. So excited for that one. Don't kill me if I got some of those details wrong. I'm just kind of in it right now, so I'm excited about it. Anyway, should we talk about Marvel? Should we switch over to let's switch over to Marvel? Tell me about the
Marvel.
Marvel stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull up the announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel announcements.
I can kind of get you started. So Avengers, they announced two new Avengers movies, The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. But these are both 20, are they both 2025? I think they're a few years out. Are we excited for these? Do we know anything about these? I guess Kang Dynasty references the that mysterious guy in Loki who's King the Conqueror, right? He's a troublesome figure in MCU history. I'm revealing how little I know about the MCU as I try to describe this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we know. Okay, so I'm just trying to get. Okay, I got it. All right. Well, thanks for the primer there, Stephen. I'm gonna just run through just a straight list of everything that we know is upcoming, and then we can talk about like what you and I are excited on. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. She-Hulk on the horizon for August 17th. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, November 11th. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, February 17th, 2023. Secret Invasion, spring 2023 on Disney Plus. What If season 2, 2023, early 2023 Disney Plus. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th, 2023. Echo, summer 2023. The Marvels, July 28th, 2023. Loki season 2, summer 2023. Blade, November 3rd, 23. Daredevil Born Again, spring 24. Captain America New World Order. I did not realize that was the name of it. That's going to get some people going. May 3rd, 2024. Thunderbolts, July 26th, 24. Ironheart, fall 23. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, winter 23. Fantastic Four, November 8th, 24. Avengers, The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 25. Avengers
Mm-hmm.
Secret Wars, November 7th, 25. Okay.
Okay.
So
That's what we got.
yeah, and I think that there's supposed to be more announcements later on in the year, but that's what we
Mm-hmm.
got.
That's not enough for you.
Seriously, holy cow. But keep in mind, this is going all the way through the ending of 2025. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot.
It's a ways out. Okay.
Yeah. What to you when I was reading that list, what stood out to you? Anything big?
Okay, so I watched the trailer for Wakanda Forever and thought it looked amazing, and I'm really excited for that one.
Nice. I actually have not seen that trailer yet. So
Oh,
you're ahead
yeah,
of
you
me.
got to watch it.
Yeah.
It's very, yeah, it's really well done. It's a trailer. Some trailers are just like, oh, that's a regular trailer. It's not a regular trailer. It's really cool.
Nice. Do we know how they're handling Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman
Oh, it
passing?
seems like it's very tied into his passing. The story is like it
Okay.
starts off. There's lots of scenes of what looks like a formal funeral. It's very emotional music throughout. The family is all quite upset, and then there a bunch of scenes of action, and then there's one scene of where like the panther claws
Coming out.
are yeah coming out, and we don't know who is in the suit. I think they didn't they say it was Zuri.
I think that's
He's
what
supposed to
people
be.
think. I'm sure
Yeah. Okay. I guess
Emergency Awesome
we'll
has a
see.
breakdown on it, but yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, it's very cool. Yeah, I'm looking
nice,
forward to that one.
cool. Um, yeah, and that's coming out. I guess November. That's
Yeah.
coming out soon.
Next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, what I'm most excited for, I'm excited for Black Panther. Obviously, I thought the first one was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the best that Marvel has ever made, but like definitely A tier Marvel. If we're doing like
Sure.
S tier, A tier,
Yeah.
definitely A tier
Yeah.
Marvel.
Good movie.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've enjoyed both Ant-Mans, but they've been kind of forgettable to me.
Uh,
You know,
they're funny. They're kind of like smaller ones, and we've already seen two of them.
yeah. So I kind of hope that they make one more and then tie out the trilogy and kind of maybe
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't know if I need more than 3 Ant-Man movies.
Yeah.
Um, so Secret Invasion, I'm really excited about. Um,
So that's a TV show, right?
yes, this is a TV
Yeah.
show,
Uh-huh.
and um, and I think that it's going to have a lot of tie-ins with what we've been seeing with the Krees versus the Skrulls. We've seen there's references to Kree and Miss Marvel, I believe. I haven't seen the last few episodes of Miss Marvel, but like there's like that blue arm that was sticking up, that she got the bracelet off of in like the flashback sequence. That was a Kree.
Okay. Didn't catch that. Okay.
I haven't watched any theories about it, but
Hmm.
I assumed it was a blue arm, so I assumed it was a Kree.
Hmm.
And then they kind of they've been hinting at Secret Wars ever since, like even the days of the of what's its face of Agents of Shield.
Okay.
So we'll see how much they tie in from Agents of Shield. Probably not a lot, but they might pull a few Easter eggs in and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm relatively excited for that. I think that's the TV show I'm most excited about. What If season 2? I haven't even watched season 1. I probably should get around to that, but really not.
Yeah, I watched that one. I don't know if I watched all the episodes, but it was pretty good. It kind of, yeah, and it was like weird in the same way that Multiverse of Madness was weird. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We've
No?
already seen like 2.5 Guardians movies. I don't know.
I'm excited.
It'll probably be good. I love the first one. The second one was kind of a miss for me.
Second one was fine. I didn't love it. I think that it was maybe what how do the cheers go? SAB. We should do this one time for a YouTube video, rank all the Marvel stuff that's ever come out.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was like kind of mid-tier Marvel. It wasn't a miss for me. I wouldn't describe it as a miss, but maybe a little bit disappointing. Kind of in the same way that Thor Ragnarok was a little bit disappointing, or Thor Love and Thunder was a little bit disappointing maybe to me, which I don't think we've talked about this, but like Ragnarok was just so amazing that like I feel like Love and Thunder, although like I enjoyed it and thought it was good and like enjoyed watching it. It wasn't as
good. Yeah,
it's just like good. It's just like could have been better. I think similar feelings to that in Volume 2.
Did you just like hate Russell Crowe in his role? Like, I thought it was terrible.
This is one of those things where like obviously he's going to be bigger like in his own movie with Hercules, like that's just a set.
He's gonna do this Zeus character again.
Oh, is he not? I assumed he was.
I really hope he does. Like, if they do, he needs to change the accent. It just sounded so stupid.
I haven't heard that take, but I don't disagree with it.
I mean, I'm excited for Hercules. Roy Kent. Heck yeah.
So, the film theorist channel, whatever, Matt Pat, that guy, he put out a theory this week saying like a random moonshot theory that that Hercules is going to be tying in the MCU to like the live action Disney stuff. And that because they're also working on, I think one of the directors, I should have rewatched this, but one of the directors who's a big time director, I don't know why I'm blanking on it, is also directing like a Hercules like live action musical for Disney, like their live action.
Really?
Yeah, you know how they've been adapting like the
like
Lion King,
old Hercules,
like the '90s cartoon Hercules. Like they've done like Lion King and Cinderella and all those.
Go the distance Hercules.
Yeah, go the distance Hercules. And Roy Kent, who we should know the actor's name, but that he's from the actor that plays Hercules in the post-credit scene, which now we should put a spoiler warning.
I think it's something Gold. What is his name? Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, apparently he's a really good singer and dancer and like musical performer. And so Matt Pat's theory is that they could be using this to tie in like the MCU into like the Disney live action universe.
Nice.
And have the same actor play Hercules in both places, which I don't know how I feel about that. Like then we're going to start getting all these crossovers.
Brett Goldstein, by the way. I was on the right track.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, minor spoilers for Thor Love and Thunder, which was an okay movie with bad Russell Crowe moments and good Matt Damon moments.
great Matt Damon moments.
Yeah. Okay.
Echo, like we're getting spin-offs from spin-offs here,
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, Echo. So the deaf, did you see Hawkeye?
Yes.
The deaf girl in Hawkeye? That
Not remembering.
she was the gang. She was like in that gang.
Oh yeah, right. Okay,
yeah,
for sure.
And she had that scene where she shot Kingpin at the ending of
Yep.
the show. Anyway, so Echo, so her name, her like superhero name is Echo, and so Echo, it's going to be her,
Okay.
a series based on her.
Yeah.
Somewhat
It,
excited because I think Charlie Cox is going to be premiering as like Daredevil in the MCU during that series.
okay.
Um,
I mean, he already did it in Spider-Man,
Correct, but not as
but
Daredevil, just as
more so. Okay, right, sure. Just
Matt,
as Matt Murdock. Yeah,
Matt Murdock. Yeah,
yeah.
which
Okay, yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, yeah. So
I am really excited for that for Daredevil 2. There's a
yeah,
name for it. Daredevil something.
yeah, we'll get to that. We move a little bit faster through these. Daredevil
Yeah, we
Born
do.
Again.
Born
Yeah,
Again, sure.
the Marvels. I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
You
But
haven't seen the end of Miss Marvel.
no, I have not. So
So
but I
there's a
figure that there's going
connection.
to be a tie. Yeah, I
Yeah,
figure
right.
that if they didn't do a cameo from Captain Marvel, which I haven't seen spoilers, but if they don't do a little thing from Captain Marvel, that'll be like super super dumb. I mean,
Okay.
why even do this if you're not going to like have at least a cameo?
Watch and find out.
Loki season 2, Loki season 1 was good. I really enjoyed it, but again, like I kind of wish these would just be like one season things, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I
I
was
don't
hoping
know.
for more. I was hoping for more with Loki season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade, okay, hopefully they go like a rated R Blade movie. I don't know if I want to see like a PG-13 Blade movie.
Hmm.
Hot take.
Isn't so?
Um,
I don't know who Blade is. Is that the movie Nicolas Cage did? He was Blade, like back in the day.
no, he was
No.
Ghost Ghost
Okay.
Rider.
Just kidding.
Blade is a dare or a vampire hunter played by Marshall. I don't want to get his name
Okay, so it's a darker
right.
story.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali. Uh,
Oh,
no,
okay.
sorry, that's who's playing it coming up. Wesley Snipes played it back in the day.
Sure.
If I'm, I feel like I'm getting this anyway. I've
Yeah.
seen like I think there are like 3 Blade movies. I've seen like the first one. I think I haven't seen all of them.
Okay. Thunderbolts, I think, could be cool.
Thunderbolts.
Any Marvel show where they have the chance to make it like a little darker and grittier. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that they just like won't do it.
So here's what I'm hoping for. You know how Marvel? What's their? I feel like Marvel has like a brand of comics that
Okay.
are like it. Like anyway, I hope that they start up like a like TVMA / like R-rated like branch of the MCU, like with like a different name, kind of, like a like
Mm.
so it's kind of like a different branding, like
Uh-huh.
so that you can kind of
In the same way that the Defenders was a little bit different
yeah.
back in the day.
But
Yeah.
the Defenders has like um what is it called? I think they did this in the comic universe. Max Comics is an imprint.
Okay.
Is
I
it
believe
Max
you.
Comics? Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like they should have some sort of branding to be like, this is the more adult, grittier version, like stories that we want to tell. Because like honestly, I think it is pretty cool that they've created this whole universe and made it pretty much family friendly
Hmm.
for like the last 15 years. Like mad respect to that. But like at the ending of the day, if you're gonna tell like if you're gonna branch out into what kind of stories you want to tell, then you kind of need to be willing to go darker and edgier with things. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you can't
Hmm.
constrain like your directors and producers so much that like you're never gonna get an
Right.
R-rated
Because
TV
then you have this like
material.
weird mismatch of like, here's the thematic content of the story. Here's
Yeah,
what's on screen. And you're just like, what? Like, it doesn't really match up.
right. And it's like Blade, which is like a like bloody vampire hunting movie. Like it's kind of the same reason why I haven't really liked the Venom movies. Like, why am I watching a PG-13 Venom movie? Like, here's this like guy chopping off people's heads, like and munching on them, like, and it's PG-13 because they don't want to put some blood in them. Like, just make like I don't know.
Mm.
I guess it kind of works for Venom, but like I kind of just wish like they just have a be able to not be constrained by like chasing a PG-13 rating for like every single movie that they do. So
Sure.
which
Okay.
is confirmed that like the next Daredevil movie, or not Daredevil, the next uh um Ryan Reynolds movie,
Deadpool.
Deadpool
Yeah.
movie is going to be rated R and in the MCU. So I think that they're going to do that. But
Mm.
Daredevil,
They added the family filter to Disney Plus, so they're
they're
ready for
safe.
that. Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again, same thing that we just talked about. They need to make it
Mm-hmm.
gritty. This is my hot take, but this is my favorite. Daredevil seasons on Netflix is my favorite comic book adaptation, period, like full stop, in my opinion. It's like it enthralled me. I loved watching it. I love the like progression of the character. I thought it was amazing from start to finish. And so while I'm excited for this 18 episodes that were announced, like I'm also really nervous because at the end of the day, I don't care if like Disney messes up like Miss Marvel, like fine. Which
Sure.
I'm not saying they did, but like I just don't really care that much. Like I'm not one
Uh-huh.
to get up in arms about this kind of things. But if they mess up Daredevil, I'll be pretty sad.
Then we'll see you in the comments.
Yeah, yeah. Then I assume we'll be still be doing Fantology in the spring of 2024, and I can go on some like rants.
Uh-huh. Nice. We'll keep it open for you just so you can do the rants in case. So what did
Okay,
they announce? They announced 18 episodes, like one, is it a mini,
one season, 18 episodes.
a long mini series,
Yeah, guess so.
an extended series that's one season long.
Yeah, yep.
And I heard Vincent D'Onofrio is back.
Yeah, they can't miss it. Like I'm still holding out hope that they do him well, but like they kind of did him dirty in like in Hawkeye,
Yeah, that was lame.
like
That's
like I'm
totally
not
lame.
I'm not one that, oh, they let him get pushed around by a woman, these like feminists, like I don't
Well, he's just
I
such an
thought it was,
imposing character through all of Daredevil, and then he's on screen for all of like 20 minutes or whatever in Hawkeye and defeated.
yeah, exactly, right,
Yeah,
yeah,
doesn't matter by who. It's just the fact that he went down so easily after being so formidable for so long.
right, and such like an on-screen like terror, like you just knew that something bad was
Mm-hmm.
going to happen when he walked on
Yeah,
screen. It's kind
yeah,
of like the Homelander thing, like where he's like smiling, like he looks composed, but like underneath the surface is just like a lava about to boil over and somebody's head might get smashed in or
mm-hmm.
whatever, like very similar aesthetic there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Okay.
think we kind of have to move on, but
Yeah, we do. We do have to
those are
move
all
on
my
from
thoughts. Yeah,
MCU. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to do more content as these movies actually like get closer, but we don't do a ton of MCU stuff, and we obviously like don't know too many details. So if you want to know more, there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there for you. Okay, so Rings of Power and Wheel of Time remaining. Let's talk about Wheel of Time. So they officially confirmed season 3 is greenlit before season 2 even comes out. I think that continues to be a good sign. We got a two behind the scenes little things, and then they announced that they're going to release a new series of origin stories, little animated cartoons, the same type of animation that they did in season 1, but it's actually going to be released before season 2 comes out and in a better way. Like in for season 1, you kind of have to like search around to find these things that were buried in the Amazon Prime menu, which was super lame and a big miss on their part because they're cool little animations. And I think they announced these ones are having to do with Malkier and the fall of Malkier, which is, Lan's backstory, essentially. So cool info there. And then Rafe had a Q&A.
yeah. And this Q&A, he was pretty candid. I feel like I watched it. Was it What Up that did the trailer breakdown? I watched
I think all
the
the
Q&A breakdown.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
all the channels. I was watching Nabless's one, but
or yeah.
I'm sure all the good Wheel of Time channels have covered this stuff.
But yes, he was pretty candid in this Q&A. I want to we can link to it or you can search for it. But like,
Yeah,
he talked about, they said that he wanted to get the characters back on track by the ending of season 2? Did he say?
yeah.
For specifically for Matt.
He said he announced like several little, he answered questions, right? Q&A. And he was pretty honest with most of them. Obviously, he's not going to reveal everything. The main things for me was it sounds like season 2 is going up until the end of The Dragon Reborn, but not the climax of The Dragon Reborn, like not through everything. because he wants season 3 to be mostly the Shadow Rising, because that's his favorite book, and that would work really well as a season, that one book, because there's a lot there. So we're
Could you just
getting
have question? Could you just have the series, like, if they don't get renewed, say, like, I mean, I can't. They would have to know before the ending of season 3, but could they just have like that be the series finale?
the end of the Shadow Rising.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well, like, just condense a whole lot of the back half of the series, or back
just
like
like
2/3 of the series.
just end with like a random fight with the Dark One. Just like, okay, that's a wrap.
Kind of. I mean, the ending of the Shadow Rising is pretty like significant. Like, it's a pretty crazy sequence, and so like,
Yeah, but it's like the jumping off for the rest of the
well,
series. It's
that's
not
what
the
I mean.
end of the.
Well, I know, but it's like the ending to me. The Shadow Rising, when I look back on it, it's like the ending of a lot of the setup for the rest of the series. So,
Yeah, sure, that's fair.
but like, so if you knew you were going to get renewed, like, could you find a way to like incorporate a lot of the themes and like major events from the ending of the series into?
Yeah,
I
but
don't know,
man, that would be
just
super. So many characters would not have like a full plot arc. It would just be so abrupt.
fair. Okay, all
I
right. Well,
mean, I guess
there's
if your series isn't going to be renewed, you have to do something. But
well,
that
some
would,
series just end, right? Some series, like, they don't have a good
yeah,
series finale. They just don't get
that's
renewed.
okay. That's fair.
So
But
like,
come on, Josh, why even put this evil out there?
well,
Like
I don't know. Okay, all right, sorry.
they're
Yeah,
already renewing for season 3 before season 2 comes out. Like that's good.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Yeah, you're right.
I do have to say though, having seen the House of the Dragon trailer and the Rings of Power trailer, obviously we don't have a season 2 Wheel of Time trailer yet, but man, those two shows have so much more money, so much more budget than Wheel of Time does. So Wheel of Time, it's gonna be. I'm gonna enjoy it. Hopefully the writing is good, and hopefully it's not as impacted by the COVID stuff. Right, we've said this a lot, but it's not going to be. I just don't see a world in which it's as good as these other two shows, and a lot of it has to do with the budget, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
thinking both these shows are going to be awesome, so I think Wheel of Time season 2 will be pretty good too.
yeah. I do too.
Yeah,
Um, and then what other questions were there? Those are the ones that stood out to me.
he
Was
said it
kind
would
of
still be 8 episodes, but they'd be longer episodes.
longer episodes. Yeah,
He said that we'd get the cool fight with Matt and Quarterstaff, if
if you know,
So
you know.
that scene will be in there. That's good. He said we'd get the chapter, the prologue for the Great Hunt.
Yeah, I
That
did see
like
that.
the
The
Dark Friend chapter, the Dark Friend social chapter, right? That'll be fun. He said he wants to focus on the Forsaken more, which I think is a great decision because those
yeah,
characters need more screen time.
it's just like you can have such imposing, fun, yet like fun bad guys like all throughout the Wheel of Time. Like, it would be so easy just to, like, if you need a mid-season, you know, thing to do, like throw in a Forsaken, just like immediately boost the
Oh
stakes,
yeah,
which, like, I
yeah.
feel like is kind of how they were used throughout the series anyway. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they were. I mean, it was kind of like a good way to end a book.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
or even just like throughout the last few books, just a good way to end a chapter. But yeah,
It's like, yeah, the next boss basically is what the
yeah,
Forsaken were throughout the series. Not a bad thing, but that's kind of how they were used. Hey, okay, so anything else for Wheel of Time? I guess we still don't have a release date, so we're expecting this holiday time towards the end of the year, maybe
yeah.
beginning of next year, somewhere around then.
The fact that they're already doing the promotions for it and stuff, I could see holiday time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's close on the Rings of Power. Neither of us know too much about this because honestly, like there is not much source material, and the source material that does exist, we're not familiar with, but we do like Lord of the Rings. And my opinion was it looks cool and it looks like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah. There has been some. Well, the big news is that Howard Shore, is that his name?
Howard Shore is doing the score,
Is doing the
the
score.
intro score, and then Bear McCreary, I think that's his name, is doing the
The music
songs
throughout.
throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a word for that as well, but it doesn't come to mind. Anyway, both like really good Emmy winning composers, and the trailer sounded awesome. It sounded like Lord of the Rings. It looked great. The CGI looks really good this time around. I think it's gonna be good. I guess it all comes down to the writing, right? We don't know anything about the writing.
We don't. And the other thing that they kind of are deciding not to keep secret is the fact that Sauron is going to be in it.
Yeah, right.
Right. Which
I mean,
think is
he had to be, right? We knew that.
But they were kind of playing like a little bit of,
Yeah.
coy with that. They, didn't really know if he was or not.
They released two scores, two songs, two tracks, right? And one was Galadriel's theme and one was Sauron's theme.
Yeah.
And both sound really good.
Yeah.
And the trailer. So was that supposed to be like the young boy was like Sauron?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. Yeah. I wasn't really sure what to make of that in the trailer.
Yeah. So these are things that, like, if you were to ask me, based on my very, very limited knowledge of Lord of the Rings, what would make a cool prequel movie? So this is based off reading the books, like a few times through and watching the movies. Then not reading any other material like the appendices or Silmarillion or anything like that. I would say a cool prequel would be something to do with Sauron and something to do with Galadriel. I think that, like, that's what I could identify as, like, a cool prequel or something. Maybe I think I would call it Galadriel because she is pretty epic. But like maybe I would name another elf or something. Like
I'd probably say like Gandalf would be cool. Cool to see Gandalf involved.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm pretty sure he won't be, like, he's the timeline doesn't work.
And we kind of saw a little bit of prequels. Like we saw him in The Hobbits and they kind of created like outline or boosted a story there, and that didn't really work for me. So I don't know. Like
Gandalf could come back as like a kind of like a Kenobi type mini series, Gandalf, just called Gandalf. you need a really iconic, cool actor though.
Stephen Colbert in like 10 years. Gandalf.
Do you think there's any chance Stephen Colbert is an extra? Like Stephen Colbert is an orc in the show or something?
Yeah, I mean, he did, like, if I'm remembering right, I think like last year or something, he went to New Zealand and did like a big tour of the Lord of the Rings. So,
so keep your eyes peeled for Stephen Colbert getting beheaded or something.
This is complete speculation, but yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, Peter Jackson was in the trilogy, right? Like
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, he put himself in it.
Yeah.
I'm like 99% on that. I mean, obviously Stephen Colbert is not the director, but there are cameos that happen.
Yeah. I could see Stephen Colbert just using his like fortune to like greenlit a Lord of the Rings project where he's like Gandalf in it somehow. It's just like, I can't leave it behind. I'm going out as Gandalf. Or I can't take it with me. I'm going out. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, there's a lot to be said, a lot of online discourse, about this property, and like some people think it's like they're destroying it, and then there's all this coverage of like influencers being paid off, which if you're watching this, we are not one of those influencers. If we were being offered to be paid money to have promotional content about Rings of Power, then that would be nice. We probably
that's because we already took all the Wheel of Time money, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
That's what we did last year.
Just all the shills.
Yeah, we got lots of money from Amazon for defending this show.
So I don't know. Like, I don't that type of content. It seems like there's this whole subculture of creators. They start getting recommended on YouTube where like all they do is crap on like Lord of the Rings and Kenobi and like, or Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Marvel. Like all they do is make videos about how they're just woke messaging propaganda and then like pull out of context clips and stuff, which like it's just kind of annoying to me, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah,
sorry, that was just a little rant. I don't know.
No, I mean I think we agree on this. Yeah we'll probably, honestly, Josh, like we plan on covering a lot of these three shows between House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, Wheel of Time. There's going to be a lot of this discussion, a lot of so-called fans wanting to destroy the property because it doesn't align with their vision or whatever. So, I mean, are we gonna do this again? Are we gonna?
So here's the thing. Yeah. Okay. I just want to call it seems like all these creators like make a big deal about these videos getting quote unquote ratioed, like on YouTube, where they have more dislikes than likes, which first of all, like they removed the dislike button. And so like these dislikes are based on an algorithm, which I don't know how accurate it is. Second of all, like some of these people have 1 million plus subs. And like the amount of dislikes is like measured in the hundreds of thousands. And they like harp on like the fact like, oh, this is gonna get ratioed and it's a win for the fandom. It's like if even like half their subs went and disliked this video, then like that's an automatic ratio. It's like it just like sorry, this is just like a big tangent. It just like annoys me how like they use like the fact that this is ratioed as evidence that like fans aren't supportive of this when it's like their viewers that are like going and ratioing it. You know, like they could get that ratio just by like I'm not gonna call out channels because I don't want to like pick a fight with anyone, but like there's big channels out there with 1 million plus subs that can like easily, if 10% of their subscribers went and like dislike this video, it would like ratio it. So it's just like funny to me that how this type of like online discourse goes and like how that's used as irrefutable evidence that fans are like like you know
right
revolting against the show. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there's a rant for you. Yeah.
Okay, so we really gotta we learned from this episode that we need to keep Fantology going so Josh can get these rants out there.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah, you've had some good rants. You've been called some names over the years of Fantology. Yeah. Josh likes to stir the pot. All right, I think that's a wrap for our coverage of these kind of random announcements from the San Diego Comic-Con. So let us know. I mean, I'm sure we got some details wrong, right? Like we're big fans, but we don't know all the details. So, let us know that stuff. If you want to talk with us on Discord, you can do that. Links to join are in the episode description. And, until August 21st, when the House of the Dragon comes out, it's less than a month away.
August 21st, September 2nd.
Yeah, the ball is just going to be rolling like crazy through all of fall. I'm really excited for this stuff. I was excited last year when we were like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is coming out. It's like even more this year. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped. All right.
Okay. See everyone later.
See ya.